Good morning. Happy Inktober the 8th. It's wonderful to see all of your smiling faces today. Today I did not get up before the sun. Well, I guess I did. When I got up, the sun was rising. So the sun and I woke up together today. Um, yeah, so thought I'd share a little bit about the family farm today. I am so glad that I've taken this trip out to the family farm. This is my wife's grandparents' property out here in North Carolina. That is her aunt's house that we're staying at. Through these trees, you can barely see the farmhouse where her grandfather lives. That's the roof of the chicken house right there. And there's another house through there where Laura's other aunt and uncle live. And all this land, farther than you can see in this video, is just our play area to just run and let the kids loose and commune with nature for a little while. And I am so glad that we chose to come out to the family farm this week. I know there's a little bit of a risk to travel right now during a coronavirus pandemic, but as you can see, it's not like there's anyone around that we're going to get sick from. I mean, the only risk is the family we're visiting. And just communing with nature has been absolutely necessary, especially as I've gotten some interesting news that, normally if I was at home and I got news that wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, I would have locked myself away in a video game forever and not really dealt with it. And this gives me a chance to just sort of, think freely, open my heart, open my eyes, open my mind, and see what is it that really needs to be done. What do I really need to do next? Anyway, I'm ready to hike back up to the house and get started on Inktober. Okay, so Inktober the 8th, there is a prompt of teeth. Teeth. Oh, teeth. Well, what do I do with that prompt? I mean, I could just draw teeth. I could just draw like a mouth open wide with its teeth showing. I could draw a snarling wolf face with its teeth showing. I could draw an alligator with its teeth showing, about to eat something. There's a monster that I like to draw that has, a huge mouth with lots of teeth. Or, there was an old movie called The Langoliers. It was based on a Stephen King novel, where there were these little round balls that just eat the past, and they have lots of teeth. What do I want to do here? I think I want to just be whimsical, fun, silly, and I'm gonna draw Bob. This is a monster that I call Bob. Bob has a sort of flattened off oval mouth. I think I got, I'm going to scoot him over a little. I got at least part of the idea for this monster from a How to Draw Monsters book a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what the monster looked like in that book. I have definitely made some changes in the way that I draw it compared to that book. If I can find which monster book that was, I will link it in the description, but honestly, it's been so long, I don't even think I remember which book it was. Anyway, that's his mouth, and then his eyes are going to be ginormous circles. And let's give a highlight on those eyes too. And then he's got spiky fur, and his spiky fur comes all the way down. And then he's just a fluff ball. And he's got teeth. I've used this monster in so many cartoony demonstrations at school. And then I just give him some little shoes, like not even any legs, no arms, no hands, just shoes. But anyway, if I'm gonna draw this monster, if the prompt is teeth, I should at least, do something like this. I've drawn this like 600 million times. Maybe I should do something to those teeth, change things up a little, make things more interesting. Spend a little bit more time on perfecting the teeth. Now, the way I normally draw this monster is to just have triangle teeth. Maybe what I want to do is have some differently shaped teeth, right? Because not all teeth are the same, right? You got some squared teeth. And then you got some that are sharp and pointy. I don't know. It's like it doesn't go with the style of the rest of the monster, so I don't know. I'm going to try it out and see what I think, and then see maybe if I should just make some modifications to the rest of the monster to kind of compensate for the level of detail that I'm putting in with these teeth. And maybe on the bottom row, he's going to have slightly smaller, but twice as many of the pointy, sharp, pokey teeth. I don't know. What do you think? Is it stupid looking? If I'm going into that much detail, I'll be showing the gums kind of between the teeth as well. And then, if I'm going into that much detail, maybe I should also have the cavernous, hole in the back of the mouth with the little uvula thing hanging down. Right? If I'm going into detail anyway. And then maybe instead of just, drawing the spikes for the hair, for the fur, maybe I want to actually make it more furry looking, just less cartoony looking. So what I'm doing is, instead of having just triangle-y spikes, I'm having lines that come out. What do I think of that? Is that better? Is that worse? He just looks hairy now instead of spiky. Maybe that's what I want. I don't know. And maybe he needs to have like some fur coming down over his eyeballs. And then, of course, if I'm doing this, then he needs fur across the bottom as well. And maybe around the mouth. I don't know. Do I like this? Sometimes I add nostrils onto Bob. All right, now if I'm going into that much detail, then I also probably ought to make those shoes look better, shouldn't I? Give them more actual shoe shape instead of just like half a semicircle, right? Wow. Wow. I don't know. Do I like that? It's definitely different. We'll see. Okay. So I've had some time to process things now, and I think I'm ready to talk about it. So if you've been following along with this Inktober stuff, you probably remember last week I mentioned something about that I am requesting to continue being a virtual teacher. I have been a virtual teacher so far for this school year. I mean, I've been a virtual teacher since March. When schools first shut down for the pandemic scare. I've been virtual since then. Now, at my school, the classroom teachers have gone back to in-person teaching, at least most of them have. But the special areas, the music, the art, Spanish, have stayed virtual for up to now. And this week is fall break, and after fall break, the special area teachers are going back into the classroom. And I was requesting that I stay virtual and teach all the kids who are still learning from home, because there's still a good population, like 20%. I could be completely off on that percentage, but there's a significant percentage of the student body that is still learning virtually from home for their regular class. And so they still have to have art and music classes as well, right? So the question then is, does it make more sense to have one art teacher do all of the virtual art classes, and then the other art teachers come to my school to teach the in-person classes? Or does it make more sense for all of us to go back to in-person and then split the load on teaching the virtual students? And I'm sure that the school, I shouldn't say I'm sure that, I know the school district, the central office, the folks in charge, the folks who make the decisions, it's not an easy decision. And they definitely have reasons why they have given me the answer they gave me. Which, the answer is no. I am not going to be able to teach virtually, or at least I'm not going to be able to be just solely the virtual teacher. I am going to have to go face-to-face on a cart, art on a cart, into the classrooms. And the school district has their reasons, and I totally get those reasons. I don't want to belittle their needs or their, but it's been a difficult process for me going through, they've made me run through the rigmarole, the bureaucratic rigmarole of getting a note from my doctor to say why, it would be a good idea for me to stay virtual based on my health conditions. And then they sent me to get a second follow-up, and then all to tell me at the end, no, we don't actually need a virtual art teacher, so we're sorry, but no. And I'm like, if you didn't need it, if you were just going to tell me that in the first place, if that's really the reason that, we don't have, because the letter they sent me was, we don't have enough virtual students to have a need for a virtual art teacher right now. And I'm like, yeah, baloney. I know exactly what the situation is. Just tell me. If you're going to say, no, you can't do it, just tell me. Just say, look, just tell me to my face. Just say, no, we've made our decision. And no, you can't. Because I get the reasons, the real reasons. The real reasons are scheduling. It would be a nightmare to schedule it such that all the other art teachers have to come to my school to teach the in-person classes. It would especially be a nightmare to do that on such a late notice because it's, supposed to be fall break. The administrators need their break right now too, and they would have to completely rewrite all the schedules if I were to remain virtual. And not to mention that then the other art teachers would have to travel more. They would have to travel to my school, which does have within itself a potential risk to spread. If there happened to be a breakout at one school and then teachers traveling from one school to another, they want to mitigate that as much as possible, right? So anyway, it's like, and there's other reasons, but I could go on and on. But the point is, I get the actual reasons. Why do they have to jump through the hoops of making me fill out all this paperwork just to tell me, no, we've already made our decision. It's like, there was no way they were going to change their decision. Like, no matter what note my doctor sent, there was no way they were going to change their decision. They'd already made their decision. And why make me run through that rigmarole? They'd already made the decision. Is there any possible scenario where my doctor's note would have changed their mind? I don't think the answer is yes. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like if I had cancer or, something. But it's like I've got situations that are on that comorbidity list from the CDC. And so it's like, what would they have, if they're not going to accept that, like what would they have accepted? I don't know. I don't think they would have. I think they'd already made up their mind. And that's why it's frustrating. Anyway, I don't need to get into the whole thing. I've already gotten more into it than I need to, but it's been frustrating. Just being given the runaround has been, it's been so stressful. And it's put undue stress. If they had just said, nope, sorry, we changed our mind, this is the way we're going to do it, you're not going to be virtual, because they had told me a month ago that if teachers go back into if the art teachers go back into the classroom, then I would stay virtual. They had told me that. And then they come back and they say, oh no, when we said that, it was just a possibility. It wasn't ever said as a definite. And then I'm like talking to the other people that were in that meeting with me, and they're like, no, we all pretty much thought it was a definite. Anyway, they told me it was going to be one way, then they changed their mind, and I would have been fine if they had just said, you know what, look, sorry. If they just came to me and said, look, I'm sorry. There's reasons why it's not going to work out. We hope that we can accommodate in any way that we can, but this is the way we're going to have to reopen this. And if they come to me like that, then we could have avoided so much of this stress and so much of this garbage and on so many levels. But no, they just said, this is the way it's going to be, and if you can't do it that way, get a doctor's note and jump through 6 million hoops to be told, no, this is the way it's going to be. And that is so unbelievably frustrating. And this is why I just hate the bureaucracy of government work, which really teaching, a lot of folks don't really grasp that. If you're a public school teacher, you are a government worker. You are a government employee. And that's the kind of garbage you're going to have to deal with. And it's like, and it all comes down from above. Like it's, at my school where I'm teaching, I love it. The people love me. That's, we've got great relationships going on. But then when it goes up to central office, it's like they don't have a clue what we actually do, what we go through. Like I've heard some people who shall remain unnamed. And some of these are classroom teachers who should know better, but some of these are folks in, higher up central office kind of positions who have no idea. They haven't been in the classroom, some of them ever, and some of them have never, haven't been in a classroom in a decade or more. But I've heard some people make comments to the idea of, oh, these virtual art teachers, all they do is record for 30 minutes, or and then they do nothing else for the rest of the week. And why do they get? And I'm like, record for 30 minutes and then done for the rest of the week? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, come to my classroom and look at my studio setup sometime. Maybe there are some of the virtual teachers, I don't think there are, but maybe there are some of the virtual teachers who record for 30 minutes and then they're done, and then they don't do anything else for the rest of the week. Maybe for some of them that's the case. I don't know any of those people. I've talked to all of the art teachers, all of the music teachers, all of the Spanish teachers, all of the guidance, a couple of the guidance counselors. It's like the amount of work that the amount of overtime, the amount of time we come in. Now, granted, every teacher at the elementary school comes in before school starts or stays after school is over and puts in extra hours past the, required amount of hours. I don't think there's a single teacher in the school. Who doesn't put in extra hours every week, right? So for somebody to say that, oh, these virtual teachers, all they have to do is record for 30 minutes and then they're done for the week, it's like, I don't think you have any idea how much time, how much effort, how much of my own equipment I'm using. I mean, I'm not even using the school laptop for any of this garbage because the school laptop is garbage. It's like, I'm using my own cameras, I'm using my own lights, I'm using my own green screen, I'm using my own computer to do the video editing. And my recording process and editing process takes all week to get a week's worth of videos done. Even after I've been streamlining my processes to try to make things as fast and smooth as possible, it's still, like, why have I been streamlining my processes? So that I have extra free time? No. I have been streamlining my processes so that I can boost my productivity and make even higher quality videos, right? If you've been following, I've uploaded a couple of videos this week to my YouTube channel that are based on some of those things that I've done for the classroom. And those are just small pickings compared to some of the extra things that I've, like, I've been looking at it approaching it from the standpoint of, if I'm going to be the virtual teacher, then what kinds of things am I going to want to add into my videos? Because, when I teach in the classroom, there's a lot of shenanigans. It's like, I'm dancing around the room, I got the kids climbing on the tables, striking poses for everybody to look, draw figure drawings and stuff. And, I do a lot of I do a lot of fancy footwork in my classroom, and I've been, coming up with ways of how can I implement that stuff in the virtual classroom. And that takes time. It's not just record for 30 minutes and then be done. It's, even if I record for 30 minutes, then I go and compile and edit the video and make sure it has good sound and make sure the, errors get cut out, and make sure that it's a high quality production. Post-production takes quite a bit of time, at least as long as the recording, if not more, right? If I record for 30 minutes, then post-production on that takes more than 30 minutes because I have to watch through all of that footage. And if I'm adding in things like images, photos of famous artworks, things like that, all of that takes additional time. If I'm adding in titles, wording on the screen, all of that takes additional time. So just the concept, the idea that somebody would say that all I have to do is record for 30 minutes and then I'm done. But again, it's like, how would they know that? How would they know that I do more than that? Because they've never done it. And it kind of goes, it reminds me of a discussion I had with my best friend about this microphone that he donated to me, that his friend and colleague donated to me, is the question, the conversation was about, you don't know. If you're not in the field, you don't even know. Like, because I had originally just asked him how much or what kind of wireless microphone would you recommend? My best friend works in sound, and so I just asked him. I was like, I know he's the guru. He's the guy to ask if I have any sound questions. And so I asked him, hey, what kind of wireless microphone would you recommend? He recommended one, and I was like, ooh, that's outside of my budget. And he's like, what is your budget? And I'm like, $20. And he's just like, that isn't gonna cut it. Like, sorry, but that is not gonna cut it. And yeah, so we had that conversation about, if you're not in the field, you have no idea. Like, I had no idea how much a usable, good wireless microphone I had no idea how much that kind of equipment would cost, because I don't do that on a daily basis. And it's the same with the situation with the folks in the central office, in the school office. They don't have a clue. None of them have a clue what an art teacher does on a day-to-day basis, much less what a virtual art teacher does. So, anyway, it's been really good. Long story short, it's been really good having some time outdoors, having some time here at the farm to just focus on family, focus on living my life and, enjoying the time that I have while I have it. And relaxing, resting, giving it up, saying, you know what, okay. And that's what I've come to the conclusion of, yeah, you know what, okay, they want me to teach in the classrooms. I'll teach in the classrooms. I got some ideas from my doctor about additional steps I can take to mitigate risks a little bit. And you know, I'm going to make the best of it. And you know, and I've looked at my schedule, so I think there's still time in my schedule to do everything I need to do. It's going to be tight, but well, I say there's still time in my schedule. There's as much time based on the way we're going to split things up. I won't be, let's put it this way, I won't be spending any additional out of bounds overtime hours, right? I'm already spending overtime hours. I won't be spending any additional overtime hours based on this decision. Anyway, long story short, being out in the wild here, out at the farm here, has really been healing in helping me to come to grips with this decision. And ultimately, I mean, as much as I do have to take care of myself, why did I choose this job in the first place? Why did I choose to be an art teacher in the first place? And, you know, the answer to that is because I know how much of a difference this makes in the lives of the children that I teach. I know how much of a difference I make. I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant when I say that, but I know how much of a difference how much of a difference I make and how much of a difference what I do makes. All right, I need to finish up these teeth. They are just pure white, and that is not ideal. They need to have a little bit of shading, a little bit of hatching or stipple along one side. Give them some three-dimensionality. Once I finish these teeth, I'm going to call this thing done. I think I've already overdone the fur and some of those other aspects. I really went to town with this. Normally this is just an outline cartoon, but when I started doing all the hairy texture, I really upped the game on this character, this monster. Anyway, yeah, I think just some minor touches to give some little bit of three-dimensionality to these teeth. And some of these are so small, it's going to be hard to do without just making them disappear. Okay, the gums at the bottom are going to be bright. The gums at the top are going to be a little darker. I'm just going to do that with stipple, just with dots. And I think I call that done. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble about my problems and ramble about getting over my problems. Tomorrow's prompt on the 9th is throw. I have no idea what I'll do for that, but I am going to be driving again tomorrow, so I'm actually going to pre-record for tomorrow's prompt. I'm going to go ahead and do that now so that when I drive home tomorrow, y'all will still have content to watch. Anyway, I hope you liked that video. I hope you enjoyed that drawing. If you like this, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see the rest of my Inktober for the rest of the month, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss them. They'll be coming out every day. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.